Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris from WheelsUpNetwork.com, and I'm calling from the sunny Toronto. I hope everybody's having great weather today. Um, Today we have Kate from the Tourism Ireland and two other partners with us today who you will be hearing about or hearing from, sorry. Just a reminder to everybody that if you do have questions, please feel free to type them into your control panel during the webinar. We will get to them at the end of the presentations. Also, we do have a prize up for grabs today, so please make sure that you do stay on till the very end to qualify for them. All right, Kate?
Great, thanks so much, Chris. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar on trip ideas. So yes, as Chris mentioned, we do have two of our partners on with us today. So we have Marion Courtney from Visit Cork, and we will have Tracy Jeffrey from NI Food Tours. So I hope everyone has had lunch, because by the end of Tracy's presentation, you are definitely going to be hungry. So just to go over a quick idea for you of an agenda, what we're going to go through. So I'm going to do a brief introduction on Ireland and an overview of some of our highlights, and then go into some sample trip ideas that you can use for your clients. And then Marion will go through what there is to see and do in County Cork. I'll jump back in and just kind of talk about some other itinerary ideas around that area. And then Tracy will speak about what she does up north with regards to her food tours and where she explores. And then once again, I'll just kind of go through another few trip ideas in that area also. And then we will have a Q&A at the end, so feel free to type your questions in the box and we will get to them at the end. So as Chris mentioned, we do have a piece of Water for Crystal up for grabs. So be sure to stay on to the end and we will announce that winner tomorrow and contact you. So getting to Ireland really has never been easier. It is a year-round destination, and the climate, especially for Canadians, is great, as in the winter it is a good getaway to a mild climate. So we do have year-round direct access from Toronto to Dublin from Aer Lingus and Air Canada Rouge. We also do have some seasonal service. So Air Canada Rouge offers seasonal service Vancouver to Dublin direct, and that runs June to October. ASL Airlines provide us with direct service to Dublin from Halifax, and that is July until October. Air Transat run May until October, Toronto to Dublin direct, and also 2 flights a week from Montreal to Dublin. And then WestJet run Toronto to Dublin via St. John's, and that is from May until October. But as well as this, I'm also delighted to announce that as of this Friday, we do have WOW Airlines on board. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with WOW. So they will be flying Toronto via Iceland to Cork Airport in Dublin. So it's the first time we've had an airline go in outside of Dublin. So it's great to have that access now to the southwest if any of your clients are looking to get even closer down to the southwest. That will be starting this week and it will be going on until October. So just to go through some of our kind of key themes, a lot of you will be familiar with some of these. So the Wild Atlantic Way, which is one of our touring routes, which I'll go into slightly more detail about in a minute. Ireland's Ancient East, then, if you have any history buffs looking to go to Ireland, there is so much history and heritage to the country, and a lot of it can be found in Ireland's Ancient East. And then Northern Ireland and the Causeway Coastal Route, as well as Derry City, Belfast City, all of this would be big for us that we're trying to push and showcase how amazing it is. And then the capital city, Dublin, along with what is on Dublin's doorstep. So they're kind of the areas that we're keen to push and get the word out there. So regards to our touring routes, self-drive tours are definitely very popular in Ireland. So Ireland's Ancient East, down the southeast there, we do have over 5,000 years of history in that compact area. So there is so much history and heritage. I don't know if you can see on the map there, Newgrange, which is northwest of Dublin. So that is a tomb that is older than the Egyptian pyramids. It is over 5,000 years old. So that's the type of history that we're talking about in this area. It really is fascinating. It's so old and there's so much to do and see in that area. The Wild Atlantic Way then, as mentioned, so it's a 2,500 kilometre route. And for such a small country, we are delighted to say that we can claim it is the world's longest defined coastal touring route. So going along this route, you will find spectacular scenery and quaint coastal towns. And then the Causeway Coastal Route up north, you will see the red line there. That boasts absolutely breathtaking views along the North Antrim coast. So whether you dare to cross the rope bridge, take in the cliff pat walk, or uncover the giant's tail at the causeway. These exciting, authentic, and immersive experiences really will thrill your clients. So just to go through now, as well as those key experiences and routes, I'm going to take you through some sample trip ideas. And all of these are available on our website, ireland.com, if you want to check out more details on them. So as a lot of you will be familiar with things like our spectacular scenery and major attractions, I'm also going to talk you through some of our kind of quirky and unique ideas. So this image here is of Galway City, and that has actually recently come into the spotlight again thanks to Ed Sheeran. I don't know how many of you might have seen his latest music video, but it is set in Galway City, so we're hoping that might garner a bit more interest as well. So the myths and legends of Ireland can be explored if your clients are interested in our tales of Celtic mythology, ruthless queens, heroes, and villains. So this is the type of thing that makes Ireland truly unique. And with our people known as the best storytellers in the world, you can be sure that your clients will experience the real Ireland when sitting down with a local near some of these areas and just asking about the tales. So if any of your clients are interested in film and you have any film buffs, they can incorporate some of our popular filming locations into their trip quite easily. So we have some classics such as The Quiet Man and Braveheart that were filmed here, as well as more recent films such as P.S. I Love You and Brooklyn. And then the biggest blockbuster recently to come to town is Star Wars. So Star Wars Episode 7 that was released December 2015 was filmed in the southwest of Ireland, and there's a pivotal scene at the end of the film filmed on Skellig Michael, and we're delighted that they decided to come back again. So episode 8 that is out this December will also feature a lot more of Ireland with some other filming locations such as County Clare and County Donegal. So taking in some of these locations could make a really interesting addition to any itinerary, especially with something like Star Wars, which has a large following. Something like that might be of interest to some of your clients. So Ireland is a lone island at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean with countless tales of shipwreck, romance and tragedy that swirl in the very water that surrounds these towering structures. So on the map here are some of Ireland's most beautiful lighthouses, and pictured top right on this slide is Clare Island Lighthouse that is actually also available for accommodation options. So if your clients visit some of these historical lighthouses along the trail, they will find out the secrets and surprises of the stories behind the lights. And some of these lighthouses really do have a lot of history and they are quite old, so there's so much to learn about them when there. So literature in Ireland, obviously, a lot of people know it's world renowned. So if you've ever wondered where Ireland's greatest writers get their inspiration, well, it's all around them in Ireland's landscape. So some of the famous ones like W.B. Yeats, you might be familiar with the Lake Isle Innisfree. That is a place in County Sligo, as you can see in the west of the map there. So things like that, the inspiration really does come from the country, it comes from the land. So if you have any literature buffs that are interested in that, taking in some of these places throughout their itinerary might be a good idea. So, and of course, can't talk about Ireland without talking about what we're definitely also known for, which is our crack agus ceol. So that translated is fun and music in Irish, and a lot of that definitely can be found in some of our pubs. So you can take a step back in time and explore the fascinating tales behind some of Ireland's oldest drinking dens. So here on the map, we do have a few featured, and they have some really, really rich history that's very interesting. So we have some up north near Belfast, and then we have Dublin, and we have some in the Midlands and the South. So if they are interested in that sort of thing when going on their trip, then maybe taking in one of the classic oldest pubs might be a good idea to include on their itinerary. So how can we help here in Tourism Ireland? Myself and Jonathan are happy to help in any way we can. Both of our email addresses are there on screen, and also the contact number there. If you call that, you will get through to either myself or Jonathan too. If you're looking for brochures, we do have the website there that you can order from. If you ever need images or any sort of footage, you can go onto irelandscontentpool.com and just register there, and you will have access. And as I said, we're happy to help with any itinerary ideas. things like this, that if you are looking for any, if you have any particular questions, we can get key contacts on the ground. Anything that we can do, we will try and help make it easier for you guys to plan the trip. So also we are doing a familiarization trip this October. So Jonathan will be recruiting for that shortly. So if you do have any interest in going on that, then please contact him. So I will now pass you over to Marion from Visit Cork, who is going to talk you through all the things to do southwest of our beautiful country in County Cork.
Hi everyone, and greetings from Cork. We are delighted to have been invited to take part in this webinar, especially as Kate mentioned, Cork has become even more accessible for Canadian visitors with the introduction of the new WOW Air routes, which start this week. So flights are now departing Montreal and Toronto via Reykjavik to Cork 4 times a week, which gives great opportunities to travellers. Cork is also just 2.5 hours from Dublin and less than 2 hours from Shannon. So it's very accessible and it's well worth a visit if travelling to Ireland. So everything good in Ireland can be found in Cork, according to the Lonely Planet. You not only have a vibrant city in Cork, but you also have the beautiful coastline and the lush green landscape. Cork is the maritime gateway to the south of Ireland, and it's the starting point of the wild Atlantic Way in Ireland's ancient east. So we're in a very unique position in that way and ideally situated as a visitor destination. So when you arrive into Cork Airport, you are only 10 minutes from the city centre. So the first itinerary I would suggest for visitors is to explore the maritime city of Cork. So Cork is a harbour city and has a long history of trade and maritime wealth. There is lots to see and do in the city, and to start the day, I would recommend paying a visit to Elizabeth Fort. So Elizabeth Fort is a 17th century fort overlooking the city, and you can walk around the walls of the fort and enjoy beautiful views over Cork. And just 5 minutes walk from Elizabeth Fort is St Finbarr's Cathedral. So St Finbar was the patron saint of Cork, so be sure to take the tour of the cathedral and admire the Gothic architecture. So the most famous attraction then in the city is the English Market, which is a roofed food market and has been trading since 1788. So the market is one of the oldest municipal markets of its kind in the world, and there's a great atmosphere in the market, and it's long been recognised by locals as a place to meet and to eat and to shop. So culinary delights include quality meats and fish, along with baked delicacies and specialty cheeses. So if you're a serious foodie or even just a casual visitor to Cork, you should definitely come and experience the buzz of the English Market. So Cork is renowned as the food capital of Ireland, and we're very proud of our reputation for world-class produce and cuisine. Cork has a long history of global trade, and you can hear about the butter trade in particular when you visit the Butter Museum in Shandon. So Cork was once the largest exporter of butter in the world, and you can hear about the dairy industry and see butter making demonstrations at the museum. If you just cross the street then from the Butter Museum is the famous Shandon Bells at St. Anne's Church, and visitors can climb the tower and ring the bells of Shandon, which is the soundtrack to our city. This is beautiful views over Shandon. So then the next itinerary would be onto Blarney Castle and to do some whisky tasting down in Jameson's distillery. So Blarney is just 8 kilometres from the city, and it's the site of perhaps the most famous castle in Ireland. So Blarney Castle was built nearly 600 years ago, and it's a world landmark, and people from all over the world flock to kiss the Blarney Stone, the legendary stone of eloquence found at the top of the tower. And they say that if you kiss it, you'll never again be lost for words. This is probably why the people of Cork are such great storytellers and full of Blarney, because they've all kissed the Blarney Stone. So from Blarney, it's a 30-minute drive to the Jameson Experience, so it is easy to do both of these attractions in one day. The Jameson's Experience is located in the Old Middleton Distillery and is one of the most popular distillery and whisky tasting experiences in Ireland. They have been crafting fine whisky on the site since 1825. So guided tours commence with an audio-visual presentation retracing the history of whisky in Ireland. Guests are then guided through the old distillery, where they can admire the old kilns, the mills, the water wheel and the distiller's cottages. The distillery is even home to the world's largest copper pot still. So the tour then ends with a complimentary glass of Jameson, or for a few lucky people, they even get to take part in a comparative whisky tasting. So your reward then at the end of your visit with a whisky tasting certificate, which is a lovely souvenir to bring home. So next we will take a tour to Cove to hear Titanic Tales. So you can leave the car behind if you're coming from the city and take the scenic train ride down to Cove. So Cove is famous for being the Titanic's last port of call. So Cove is a really pretty harbour town that has been the first face of Ireland for many a visitor, as well as the final glimpse of home for millions of immigrants who left Ireland, with many going to Canada. The Titanic Experience Visitor Centre is situated in the old White Star Line ticket office, which was the departure point for many thousands of White Star Line passengers. So during your visit, you will experience life on board the Titanic and learn a little about the conditions on board for passengers. The Cove Heritage Centre is housed in the restored Old Town train station, and this centre tells the history of Cove and the harbour as being a point of embarkation for immigrants during and after the famine. And there is a genealogical service with many resources for those interested in exploring their Irish roots. Spike Island, from Cove you can take a scenic ferry ride out to Spike Island, otherwise known as Ireland's Alcatraz. Spike Island just recently has been nominated for Europe's leading tourist attraction in 2017 at the World Travel Awards, so it's well worth a visit. And you can really get captured in the history and mystery of this magical heritage island, which is dominated by the 200-year-old Fort Mitchell, a star-shaped fortress, which became a prison holding over 2,300 prisoners. So the 24-acre Fort Mitchell is one of the largest star forts in the world, and it still is fearsome looking today. So next we will go to Kinsale. Kinsale is just 30 minutes from the city, and visitors to Kinsale are always captivated by its beautiful setting, its long waterfronts, the yacht-filled harbours, the narrow winding streets, and the brightly painted galleries, shops and houses. So there's something for everybody in Kinsale. You can visit the impressive Charles Fort, which looms high over the harbour. It has an innovative visitor centre telling the story of the fort, the people who built it, and the kings and war chiefs who fought here. It's a very popular marine activities hub with deep sea angling, scuba diving, boat hire, fishing and kayaking, or you can relax on the Kinsale Harbour Cruise and take in the beautiful views of Kinsale. Garrettstown Blue Flag Beach is just 10 minutes from Kinsale, and it's one of the best beaches in Cork for surfing. And close to Garrettstown then is the Old Head of Kinsale, which is not only famous for its golf course, but also the stunning views. The Kinsale is internationally renowned for the number and quality of its restaurants, so you will be spoiled for choice when eating out in the town while enjoying beautiful views of the harbour. So when you leave Kinsale, you can go on a journey down the Haven coast and towards the town of Clonakilty. So Clonakilty is home of famous Irish rebel Michael Collins, and Michael Collins' house is a newly restored Georgian building which tells the story of Ireland's struggle for independence. There is a statue of Michael Collins in the town, which is a really popular spot for visitors to the town to take a photo. The Blue Flag Inchydoney Beach is a short drive from Clonakilty and has won TripAdvisor awards in the past for being the top beach in Ireland. It is a really beautiful long beach. It's fantastic for walking. It's got a great surf school where you can rent boards and take 2-hour group lessons or some private tuition on the waves. And from Clonakilty, you can drive to Glandore, which sits high over the hill with amazing views of the harbour below. And if you're interested in archaeology, you can visit Drumbeg Stone Circle. It's a circle of 17 standing stones, which on excavation showed there has been an urn burial in the centre. So it's dramatically situated on a rocky terrace with sweeping views over the Atlantic. So next I'm going to take you on a journey to Baltimore. It's a really popular fishing village, which is full of life, especially in the summer, with pubs on the harbour wall, plenty of places to eat, and the chance to take the ferry across the bay to Sherkin Island or Cape Clear Island. It's water-based activities that draw many visitors to this part of Cork, with sailing, angling and diving all popular across the year. But there's one water-based activity that's really popular, and that's whale and dolphin watching, which you can do from Baltimore. Lough Ine is just 6 kilometres from Baltimore, and this seawater lake is home to marine plants and creatures, including 72 different kinds of fish. So an activity that you have to put on your bucket list is moonlight kayaking on Lough Ine with Atlantic Sea Kayaking. It's a really popular and magical kayaking experience, which begins just an hour before sunset. And there's always something that will make you gasp on the trip, whether it's the stars overhead or the moonlight reflected on the water. It's an experience you won't forget. The next itinerary for visitors is to explore the peninsulas of Mizen Head and Sheep's Head. So Mizen Head is Ireland's most southwesterly point, and it's a spectacular place to visit. It's home to a signal station that was built to save lives off the rocky shoreline, and visitors can wander through the visitor centre before following the path down the famous 99 steps and over the arch bridge on the picture. Along the way, there's stunning scenery to be admired and lots of photo opportunities. Sheep's Head then on the right is a walker's Eden with stunning coastal paths, and it's a real peaceful and spoiled peninsula which has some of the most beautiful lands and seascapes in all of Ireland. There are various looped walks, and if you wish to explore the whole area, the Sheep's Head Way is a 200-kilometre route of unspoiled natural beauty. At the very tip of the peninsula, you'll find Sheep's Head Lighthouse, providing more great photo opportunities and great views of the surrounding area. So the next itinerary then will be very popular with garden lovers. Bantry House and Gardens is a stately home overlooking Bantry Bay, and it houses an important private collection of furniture and objects of art. Today, visitors can explore the house and gardens, they can have tea in the tea room, or they can even stay the night in the B&B located in the East Wing. From the nearby town then of Glengarriff, you can take a ferry out to Garnish Island to visit this amazing island garden. Garnish is world renowned for its subtropical gardens, which are laid out in beautiful walks, and it has some stunning plants which are very rare in this climate. The ferry trip even includes a wonderful visit to Seal Island, where you will visit the very tame seal colony. So it's a beautiful excursion while holidaying in Cork. So the final itinerary then is the Ring of Beara, which is a circular driving route along the Beara Peninsula. So parts of the peninsula do lie in Kerry, but most of it is in Cork, and you can easily drive the 137-kilometre Ring of Beara in one day, though you may wish to stay longer and explore the area. The trip makes for dramatic scenery at almost every turn of the road, and there's lots of lovely eateries along the way. Manning's Emporium is just one of those, which is located in Bantry. You pass through lots of colourful little villages like Allihees and Irees, and if you have time to explore them, the Allihees Copper Mine Trail is a fascinating marked walking route that takes them to sites of the old copper mines around beautiful Allihees on the wild Beara Peninsula. And a highlight of this trip, and a very popular excursion, would be to take a trip on the exhilarating and wobbly cable car. It's the only cable car in Ireland, and you take a trip from the tip of the peninsula out to the tiny Jersey Islands. You can do some hill walking on the island. So it's a really lovely trip to take. So there are just some ideas of how you can spend your time in Cork. There's lots more things you can do, but that just gives you some ideas. And it really is a fabulous destination. There's so many things to see and do, you won't want to leave. So we hope to see you all here soon.
Great, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Marion. So now I'm just going to kind of take you through some of those ideas and kind of how you can put them into practice, and how your clients can visit them. So, for example, this is one itinerary idea to do the Haven Coast. So this will take in a good chunk of what Marion was talking about there. So you will have, as mentioned here, the Old Head of Kinsale, which is famous, as Marion said, for a golf course. But as you can see from the below picture there, the views are just absolutely stunning, and you really do feel like you're on the edge of the world. So doing this, you can see there, it would take approximately 2 days to do this small section of the Wild Atlantic Way. So also we can go to the east if you choose. So that's why Cork is such a good destination, and why we're delighted to definitely have the new air access in there, because to the west you do have the beginning of the Wild Atlantic Way, and to the east then, as seen here, you do have parts of Ireland's ancient east. So this here is an example of the Celtic coast section of Ireland's ancient east. So there is so much to do on this trip. So this one is a bit longer, and it would take approximately 4 days. So some of the things that you will see, Cove, as Marion mentioned, and then as you go up the coast, the bottom right there is Waterford City, which is actually the oldest city in Ireland. It was founded in 914 AD by the Vikings. So that's the type of thing that I'm talking about when I'm saying the history here is just amazing. You go past Hookhead Lighthouse, you get to County Wicklow, where you will see things like Glendalough and Powerscourt Estate. So there is so much to see and do, hence why it's a 4-day itinerary. But this is just some of the examples of some of the things that we have available to you both on our website and that we can just help you out with. So now I'm going to pass you over to Tracy from NI Food Tours, and as I said, I hope you've all eaten, because some of the things that she's going to be discussing are absolutely delicious.
Oh, thank you, Kate. Thank you. Fáilte Roibh, thank you very much for tuning in to hear the presentation this afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity. I run the NI Food Tours. The organisation has been going now for a couple of years. We basically go off the beaten track on our food experiences. We meet local people and we offer truly authentic experiences within NI Food Tours. We meet the locals of this area and we dine with the family. Lots of options that are just very different from a standard kind of food tour. In terms of where we work out of, we are located 30 minutes from Belfast in County Down in an area of outstanding natural beauty. And we're about 80 minutes from Dublin Airport and about an hour or so from Newgrange. We also offer food trails in Belfast city centre, and we do also offer some food trails up in the North Coast as well, around the Giant's Causeway Trail. We in terms of what we offer on the tours, as I say, our experiences are very authentic. They can be as immersive as you want them to be. We will invite your guests to make traditional Irish breads, to make cheese, or to go and shuck the oysters that you will harvest down on the oyster beds. We're all within an area that's very landscape. You will visit areas of outstanding natural beauty. We have the coastline of 120 miles of coastline. We have the mountains of Mourne, and the whole of this county is covered in beautiful little drumlins. Undiscovered, you probably won't actually meet another coach on the road because we're a hidden gem in County Down. Next slide, Kate, thank you. You can see in the next slide here, the islands. This is where I am based, and this is the White Rock Bay. So it's about a mile from me. So Strangford Lough is dotted with 120 little islands. We can take boat tours around these islands. It's absolutely beautiful. I should also point out that the waters of Strangford Lough are of the cleanest waters in Europe. Therefore, we provide the most outstanding shellfish and all manner of seafood as well. Some of the experiences that I'm going to tell you about now, I'm going to tell you about some of them. They can all be offered as a one-off or a half-day experience. So it's not that you have to do a full day or 2-day itinerary. You can choose to do a morning or whatever. Experience, next slide, Kate, thanks, that I want to mention, and it's probably the most popular offering for FIT clients and guests, would be coming to my house. I live in an 18th century thatched barn or cottage, which is right touching the shores of the loch, and I invite you in to make traditional Irish breads in the traditional way. So we will make our potato bread, our champ bread, fruit bannock, and so on. And another thing that we make, which is very popular, are a truly Northern Irish sweet treat called the tray bake. So we invite guests to get their aprons on and get baking. And I must say, this is certainly a very popular experience. Guests have absolutely loved the whole thing. At the end of it, when people arrive, we have tea, coffee, and we have some tray bakes and so on to start the session. Then we do our bread making, and everybody leaves with a little gift box of the bread mix and all of the recipes that we've used in the session. That typically would last for about 2.5 hours. As I say, I run them on a regular scheduled basis, so it's also very, very handy for the FIT travellers who just wish to pop in and make their own way here and be here for a morning. Another option will be to meet producers in my house. I very frequently do lunches here. We may bring along the cheese producer, and we have some of the best cheeses in Ireland here in Northern Ireland. It might be the gin producer, it could be the whiskey distiller, it could be the cider producer. We have our oyster farmer as well. They will cook lunch for us and we will enjoy their produce. We will also hear their story, and as Kate mentioned earlier, I have definitely got some storytellers in the world here in Northern Ireland. So that's just one of the experiences that is very popular and would be on offer, only unique really to NI Food Tours. It is certainly very authentic. You couldn't get much more authentic than joining me in my home. Next slide, please, Kate, thanks. So this is just me at my home. It actually was taken in the autumn of last year, so you can see a very ominous sky in the background. But it's big enough to cope for groups of about 15 to 20. I normally operate in group size of about 15 and less. Very happy to take small numbers. If we have a larger group, then we would do rotating groups. So I would have 15 in my cottage, and then the other 15 might be somewhere else or whatever. Next slide, please, Kate. The next experience that I have to mention is, again, very, very unique to NI Food Tours. We meet Patrice, who is our oyster and mussel farmer. Patrice is actually based on Coney Island, which is the very famous island made famous by Van Morrison. We meet Patrice down at the harbour. We join Patrice on his tractor and trailer and travel in style down to the oyster beds. It is truly an experience that will not forget. Patrice will tell us all about how he farms and harvests his oysters and his mussels. He will then invite us to harvest our own oysters, and we then jump back on our tractor and trailer and head back for 5 minutes of a journey to Patrice's shack, which is basically gouged into the side of a cliff face in a beautiful little bay where on a good day you can see right across to the Isle of Man. And there you will be treated to an absolute feast of locally harvested shellfish, from winkle and langoustine to a big pot of mussels that his wife Joy will have cooked for us. We wash all of this down with our local porter or prosecco. Obviously there are alternative people who are not big fish eaters, but I must say, whether you are or aren't, or enjoy oysters or you don't, it is truly unforgettable. Again, this experience can be a one-off. So this is just a picture, a photograph of a group at Patrice's shack. So as you can see, Patrice has, set it up himself, made it look very pretty with his white tablecloth and his flowers and so on. And we have a go at shucking the oysters ourselves. And we add various different, like saffron, butter, or different types of condiments that most people absolutely love their oysters. Thank you, Kate. Next slide. I mentioned earlier about our cheese producers. We have 2 of the only organic raw milk cheese producers in Ireland, and they are both based within about an hour of my home. One of those producers is Christo, and Christo is a complete character. He loves to tell his story, and we visit Christo in his pantry. We don't just see how Christo makes his cheese and hear all about his cheese and how he came to be and so on, but he actually invites you to get involved. Put on your white coat, get on your big, ugly white boots, and join Christo's making process. Again, guests absolutely love this involvement. And after this, we then enjoy a whole selection of Christo's Irish cheeses, along with other cheeses from the area that are also award-winning, and we would match those to our local craft beers as well. It's truly authentic. You're meeting the local people of the area. Okay. Thanks, Kate. This is just a picture of inside Christo's cheese pantry. So as you can see to the left there, one of our guests has a white coat and white boots on, and Christo is going through the whole cheese making process. And these are some of Christo's cheeses in his maturation. And some of them are Dutch, are like a Gouda style cheese. He has goat's cheese, and he's recently started making butter as well. So truly authentic experience. Okay, next slide, please. I just want to mention as well some of the types of tours that we can offer for your virtuoso client. I work very closely with the Hastings Hotel groups for their Virtuoso clients, and Hastings are the largest family-owned hotel group in Northern Ireland. So I have experience of working with these clients. Some of the other tours that I have offered and have been very popular would be private local garden tours. In this particular area in County Down, because we benefit from a microclimate, we are sheltered by the Ards Peninsula and the Strangford Lough. We have some of the most amazing local private gardens in the whole of Ireland. We invite you to meet the local people, meet the local women and men who tend their gardens and are very proud of them. Have afternoon tea or have lunch with them and let them tell you their story. It's truly a memorable experience. Another thing that we do in both autumn and during the spring and summer is foraging. Whether it's by boat or walking around on the land, around the shore. We forage for about 3 hours. We gather lots of things and hear all about the kind of the plants and where they come from and so on. And afterwards, we enjoy a whole feast of local foraged food. Some of it not foraged, some of it like a hake or whatever, cooked by a roaring fire. It might be outdoors on a barbecue, it could be mackerel on the barbecue, or it could be indoors, again, with a roaring fire if it's cold outside. So foraging is something that is also very popular. We can offer boat tours if you feel like taking a boat tour out on the loch, or maybe you feel like fishing on the loch. As I mentioned earlier, we have 150 little islands. Another visit that I can arrange, again, some of these visits are not actually open to the public. One of them would be Killelea Castle, which is 5 miles from here, from my cottage. It is the only castle inhabited in Ireland by the same family for 400 years. It's not open to the public. It's inhabited by the Rowan Hamilton family. And yes, they will take a group of distinguished guests or virtuoso clients in, offer them something to drink, and it's an amazing story that the owner has to tell of all of the things that have gone on in this castle. I should also mention that Killelea, where the castle is also the home to Sir Hans Sloane, who discovered the cocoa bean. So every couple of years we have an amazing chocolate festival, given that Killelea has such a connection with chocolate. And again, people love to come and visit, to learn how to make chocolate, to visit the festival, and to go to the chocolate ball. Again, a truly memorable experience. Okay, last slide, I think. Just to give the practicalities, we offer a very personalised tour, and as I say, very much specialising in working with virtuosos and very exclusive clients. We work with small groups, family groups. We do cater for as well as the adults, obviously. We feel that if we offer the service to smaller groups, it is a very personalised service. We don't ask anybody to walk on our tours unless it's the Belfast Food Trail, but it's very much, the emphasis is on just sit back, relax, and let us take you to wherever we're going, right outside the front door. As I mentioned earlier, we do offer and cater for larger groups, but we would cut them into kind of smaller groups, again, ensuring that it's a personal service. I am very happy to come out to the hotel, get the Slieve Donard or the Culloden or Belfast hotels, wherever, and meet your clients there and remain with them throughout the day, so that there's continuity throughout. Duration could be 1 day, could be half a day, could be a one-off experience. You could wish to stop with me on your way through from Dublin or from Newgrange in Belfast as a pit stop for lunch or afternoon tea. It's a very flexible service, and I certainly would welcome the opportunity to give you some more information we can offer you, and I look forward to hopefully working with you in the future. Thank you very much.
That's brilliant. Thank
Sorry,
you
this is
so
just
much, Tracy. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Okay. No, just going to say, Kit, sorry, this is just of the bread making in my home. Sorry, I should have put that picture a bit sooner. But it's just to give you a feel for kind of the bread making in my home. Thank you.
Great, perfect, thanks. Yeah, no, you can definitely tell what an authentic experience it is, and these, like, Ireland has just become so popular as of late for its food, and we really do have so much to offer. So any clients that are foodies and interested in something like this, Tracy's tour definitely is one to go to. So to give you an idea, if that is something that you're suggesting to clients, what else you can do in the area. So if you do go up to that area of Northern Ireland, there is so much to do. So one of the big itinerary suggestions definitely would be the Causeway Coastal Route, as mentioned earlier. So there is so much to see and do. It starts at Belfast City and goes right around the North Antrim coast to Derry, Londonderry City. And then some of the things featured here, for example, you have the UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Giant's Causeway. In Belfast City, you have the Titanic Museum, you have the Gobbins Cliff Path Walk on the left there, which opened only about coming up to 2 years ago now, and that really is something unique to Ireland. It is fascinating to do. And then you have the bottom picture there is Derry, Londonderry, which is one of the oldest walled cities in Europe, and there is just so much history there in that city, if that is also something of interest to your clients. And then just another example of if your clients are in that area, something that they could do would be if they are Game of Thrones fans. So obviously the hit series from HBO is hugely popular, and it is filmed in Ireland. The majority of it is filmed in a studio in Belfast City, but they do film a lot of their scenes also in some of our landscapes. So just an example here of some of the things. So the famous dark hedges on the top left there is the King's Road, and as you can see, just some of the scenery that is in Northern Ireland fits in quite well with Game of Thrones, with some of the things I was talking about earlier, with the myths and the legends. It's just hence a kind of slight mystery around it with the landscape. So there really is so much to see and do in Northern Ireland as well. As I said, we do have all of these trip ideas on the website. So similar to what's on screen here, you will kind of be given an idea of distance, of days to do it, and of places along the way. So the resources are there. Please use them. Please also ask us if we can help in any other way. If you do have clients that you are looking to send to Ireland, we are obviously just as invested as you guys to make sure that they have an amazing time. So everyone's contact details are on screen there if you do want to screenshot that and contact any of us. And I will pass over to Chris now, I think, and we will see if there's any questions from anyone.
Yep. So the question that we have is, when is whale watching season in Baltimore?
I'll leave that one to you, Marion.
Sorry, what was the question?
When is whale watching season in Baltimore?
Whale watching season, I think it's all year round, but I can follow up with you with the exact information of the suppliers if somebody wants them.
Yep, I'll send you the contact for that agent.
Super.
All right. Are there any other questions from any of the agents that are online? No. Okay. So for all the agents, if you do come up with any other questions, you do have the contact information for all the partners on the screen right now. I will send them in the follow-up email with the winner of the Waterford Crystal piece in that follow-up email that goes out tomorrow. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and thank you to Marion and Tracy and Kate, as always, for a great presentation.
Great, thank you so much as well, Chris, and
Chris.
Thank you everyone for joining us, as well as to Tracy and Marion. As Chris mentioned, there will be a follow-up email going out, so if you have any further questions after this, feel free to contact myself or Marion and Tracy. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks a million.